Everybody turn your mics on, and you ready? Everybody ready? Christina, you ready? Everybody ready over there to my left?
Yes, sir.
All right, I got 6:30. I call to order the Rolesville Town Board meeting. This is June 3, 2025. If you would, we're going to start off with invocation. And I don't, is a pastor? I don't see a pastor, so I'm going to rely on you maybe if you want to do that.
Ready?
Yeah.
Let us stand. And let us pray. Father God, we again thank you for your grace and your mercy. We thank you for this opportunity in which we get to come together now. God, we ask that you give us wisdom, that you give us guidance, that you allow us to make decisions that are best for your people, and forgive us for any of those things that we have said or done that did not bring you glory along this week. We thank you in this and so much more. In Jesus Christ's name we do pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Lenny. Appreciate that. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Appreciate that. We will start off tonight. I do have a proclamation I want to do. So we will start off with the proclamation. This is a proclamation of the town of Rolesville recognizing Juneteenth 2025. And it reads, whereas Juneteenth, also known as Freedom Day, Jubilee Day, and Emancipation Day, is the oldest known celebration commemorating the end of the slavery in the United States. And whereas on June 19, 1865, Union General Jordan Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, and announced the enforcement of Emancipation Proclamation, which had been signed by President Abraham Lincoln on January 1, 1863, declaring that all enslaved people in the Confederate-held territory were to be set free. And whereas this significant day marks the end of slavery in the United States and symbolizes freedom, resilience, and ongoing pursuit of equality for all people. And whereas Juneteenth is a time to honor the contributions of African Americans to culture, economic, social fabric of our nation, while also recognizing the struggles that they have faced in the journey towards true freedom and equality. And whereas celebrating Juneteenth provides opportunity for reflection, education, and unity as we honor the past and work together towards a more just and inclusive society. And whereas the town of Rolesville stands committed to promoting equality, diversity, and inclusion for all residents, acknowledging the significant contributions of its African American community. Now, therefore, I, Ronnie Kern, Mayor of the town of Rolesville, do hereby proclaim June 19th, 2025 as Juneteenth in the town of Rolesville and encourage all residents to join us in the celebration of this important day, reflecting on the progress made and work that still lies ahead in the pursuit of true freedom and equality. In witness thereof, I herefore set my hand this day, the 3rd day of June, 2025. All right, thank you. And I think June is in the back there. I think got a good event going on Juneteenth Day, I think. So. You want to come up and speak to that real quick, what you got going on and what your plans are?
Mayor, Commissioner, on Mike.
There you go.
All right, thank you. On actually June the 21st, out at Millbridge Nature Park, we'll be having our Juneteenth event. It's going to be from 2 to 6. We have some storytellers. We have some artists who will be singing. Pretty much all local. We do have some local talent that's coming to sing for us. We got roughly about 12 to 13 vendors that have already confirmed that they will be there. We have 2 food trucks. One of them is a soul hibachi, and I think the other one is on Onkimu or either the fried guy, one of the 2. Then we have a dessert truck, and we're also going to have a beer and wine truck out there as well. and we're gonna have inflatables, and we have yard games for the kids. So it's gonna be a full-day event from 2 to 6 out at Millbridge Nature Park. And also, that's gonna be our opening and showcasing of all the renovations that has been done at Millbridge Nature Park. So we're really excited about that, and for the renovation of the amphitheater, and also having Juneteenth out there as well.
Right. Well, thank you, Gene. Appreciate it. I think everybody's invited, even the people outside of town. Anybody can come, right?
This is a community event, Mayor, and this is everybody in the community, as well as citizens and non-citizens of Rolesville. Because some of the artists are from on the outside of Rolesville.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, we'll consider the approval of the agenda, so you guys see that. But biggest thing we got tonight is the budget. We'll have a public hearing on that, and also possible decision. So I will entertain a motion for the consent agenda,
Mayor,
the approval of the agenda.
if it please the board, we may need a short personnel-related closed session this evening.
Okay. All right. So I will ask for maybe a motion for the consent agenda with the request of the attorney for a short personnel matter.
So moved.
Second.
All right. We got a motion second. Any other discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Sound as if the ayes have it. The ayes do have it, so the motion approved. Thank you very much. This is a moment for the public to be heard. I see we do have a few people here, and maybe that want to speak. Did anybody sign up? Yeah, if you want to speak, come on up. Just you got 3 minutes, and just state. Yeah. Just state your name, address, and you got 3 minutes, and whatever comments you want to make.
All right. My name is Brandy Schultz, and I live at 4924 Tuckahoe Trace. And I wanted to talk about the enforcement fees because I know that's up for adoption today, and I wanted to speak in favor of those. I have a neighbor who operates a industrial tree trimming business from the middle of our very tiny 30-home neighborhood. I hear trucks and wood chippers from sunup to sundown. I can't use my yard. It rattles my house. I've informed them multiple times. Their solution was a fence, which is yet to be put up. There's also flooding. I'm worried about losing our outbuildings now, and there's no recourse of action. They were notified in January by the town. Mrs. Gruber sent a notification of violation to them. And here it is, June. And today, while I was writing my notes, I was listening to trucks and wood chippers and chainsaws. And it's been really hard. It's been since 2023. So 2 years now, I've been listening to this, and I waited. I thought, there's no way they would operate this business here. And they bought full-size, beautiful, brand-new, huge trucks. And if they can afford that, why can't they find a proper lot? When I said that this was an industrial use, he said, no, it's not. And I said, well, the LDO specifically says this is a light industrial use. Doesn't care. He also happens to be on one of the boards here. And I find it a little infuriating for myself and frustrating. And I hope that you guys can consider adopting this and putting it forward so that, there is some recourse, so that there's some teeth behind it, and that action can actually, happen here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I understand you speaking in favor of enforcement.
Favor, yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
and we will have a public hearing on the budget, and if it's part of the budget, if you have something you want to add, you're welcome to come back.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Add my name?
So
Thank you.
thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
Next item is consider approval of the consent agenda. As you can see, it's quite a few things there, some minutes, amendment, resolutions, ordinances for capital HUD community project grants, some amending personnel policies, resolution accepting streets and right-of-ways. So we did add some new streets this past year, so we got to officially have a resolution on that. And amendment to the enforcement provision of the town code. And I think everybody got a chance to see that in the agenda, but I'm welcome to pull any item that you feel like you want to pull and vote on separately or discuss separately. If not hearing any, I will entertain a motion to consider the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Is there any other discussion? Not hearing it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing. I think the ayes do have it, and the ayes do have it. So appreciate that. Town Board Liaison reports. So we will start maybe with Michael Paul, if you got something you want to share.
The only thing I have as an update is my senior advisory committee is meeting with a representative from the Wake Forest Senior Center to start the conversation to figure out how to build a senior center here in Rolesville. So we're very excited about that. That's
Yeah,
my-
you know, Wake Forest, as of July 1, is moving the senior citizen center over there into the town.
Correct.
I think they're hiring 5 employees. I think it's 4 from the current center, and then they're adding 1, I think. So it's a total of 5 in their budget, I believe, if a budget gets approved. So, you know, yeah, I think we need to start that discussion at some point in time. So great.
we do.
Thank you for working on that. April.
With the planning department, we had a meeting on May 27th, and before us was the land development ordinance text amendment for vehicle minor service use standard regarding service bays, and that will come before us next month. And also, we did get through, during the director's report, the assistant director gave us an update, and he told us that with the clearance of the sewer in the points, 4 plats are ready for approval, so approximately 280 lots waited on sewer approval. So there'll be a lot of, expect a lot of building permits to come very quickly for the point. And he also said that 3 buildings at Publix have certificates of occupancy, so within about 45 more days, we'll see a lot more openings over there. So that's good news.
Yeah, I see some rooftops already happening over there.
At the point, yeah,
So it's coming.
it is.
Paul, anything from Parks and Rec?
Yeah, real quick. Wanted to mention we had a Memorial Day event here. It was really nice. Had a Memorial Mile where we walked from here to CVS and back to represent the mile. Upcoming events, we have Freedom in the Park, which is the Juneteenth celebration, June 21st, 2 to 6 p.m. We have trail art going on right now through the entire month of June. There's 2 pieces that are put out on the greenways each day. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but this is what they're kind of like this year. So look for that when you're walking around. If you find that in the park or along the greenways, it's yours to keep. We ask if you would, if you could post something on social media and tag us with, that'd be great. So we know that people are receiving them. We also have Rolesville 4th of July coming up, July 4th. It will be from 5 p.m., and then the fireworks will be going off at approximately 9:15 p.m. And that's all I have.
Great, thank you, appreciate it. How about public safety? Anything from you, Linwood?
Not for me. Police will be given an update today, and obviously we are moving forward with the unification with the fire departments.
Yeah, thank you. And the fire department had their community, I think appreciation dinner is what they call it, this past Saturday night, I believe. And it was a good attendance. They really did. They did a good job. And you know, really, that's that with unification, as you said, you feel like we pretty good feel about it right now. It's going to happen on July 1, so that could be the last appreciation dinner of that board sponsor. And they did mention that, and there was a little bit of a little bit of sadness, that's changing. But I think talking to Eric and I agree that, as long as we got volunteers in that department, I think it'll be somewhere between 35 to 40 people from the community, being part of the fire department. I think we need to keep the appreciation going, at least for a while, because of the community. We're going to require community assistance with the fire department when we merge. We're not going to staff it full staff, immediately in the transition. We understand that it's going to be a lot of volunteers, and anywhere from 35 to 40. So a lot of things not going to end day one. So and I think Eric kind of thought about that, and you're good with that, I think.
I'll also add one thing that is customary to public safety teams and departments, more specifically, also military and also police departments and fire departments, is challenge coins. And so one thing that you have in front of you is that I took some initiative and kind of commemorated the unification with a challenge coin. And on one side of it, it has the Rolesville Rural Fire Department shield on it. And the other side, it has the town of Rolesville's logo that's on the wall behind you. And if you look at the inscription on it, on the top of the circle, it says two legacies and then one destiny. And so I just took an opportunity to kind of thank them all for their service over the years, and to just reaffirm that the unification builds on that legacy. It's not a washing away. And so we'll be continuing to honor all the work they've done over the last, I think 67 years, 65, 67 years. 67 years, and that even their first fire truck will be on display in the new building. And so we'll be looking forward to all of those more celebratory opportunities over the next few years, even as we continue to transition.
Yeah, and Eric spoke at the appreciation dinner. He did a really good job of communicating and actually being in tune with them, because it is a big change, and he did a really great job of that. I want to appreciate Eric publicly for doing that. And that may have been the first time a town manager spoke at that event. I'm not sure, but I don't recall anybody else, because it's not a town event. It's it's a fire department event. So, a lot of times the mayor or somebody speak for the community, but Eric did a very good job, and want to thank you for that, Eric, really do. All right, thank you, appreciate it, board. Lots going on, a lot of good stuff to report. So we do have a communications from the staff, police department, maybe an update there. So I'm gonna turn it over to you, Chief.
Good evening, board.
Good evening.
Mr. Mayor, Town Attorney, Town Manager. Thank y'all for having me this evening. Go over a few. First, we'll start off with a few staff changes, some that we've been talking about over the last quarter. Sergeant Saunders retired officially on April 30th with 30 years of sworn service. I have talked to him recently, and he does not wish to come back. He's enjoying his retirement. He did say that his honey-do list has grown substantially. Since
We
retirement.
saw him hanging around with the fire department.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But he is doing well. I am proud to announce that Detective Beatrice was promoted to sergeant, and she'll be on the patrol division. That was on May 2nd.
Nice.
Officer Bolin was selected to fill her vacancy in the detective division on May 17th. I was going to do a little something different. Normally I talk about the patrol and citations and different stuff that they have going on, so I'm going to switch it up and do a little highlight support services. So our SROs and our detective division, some of the things they do behind the scenes that we don't often highlight. For the school resource officers, they had, this is from winter break, which ended around January 6th. They had a total of 161 calls for service at the high school. There were 5 drug offenses, 10 incident reports, 2 assaults, 3 traffic accidents, 1 weapon offense. one fight that was most recent, and there's 2 juvenile petitions that are pending that came out of that incident. So they have had a very, very active last quarter of school as we're winding down. They will have summer school out there that I learned recently. So, and of course with all the sports activities, so we will have staff in and around the campus throughout the rest of the summer. In investigations, since January, they've been assigned a total of 29 cases. 14 of those were cleared. That's a total of about 48% clearance rate. And looking at the national average for violent crimes, that's 45%. And in property crimes is 17%. This is our total average. But if you looked at our violent crime, it's 100% up to this point. So of those cases that were cleared, to the right, you'll see the pie chart, and those are all the charges that stem from the cases that they were able to get cleared out of their queue and investigated. I did want to take a few minutes to highlight a few of the cases that y'all may not even be aware of that have occurred in town. One was from January to March. There was approximately $80,000 worth of tires that were stolen from multiple jurisdictions. Through the investigation of detectives, they were able to learn that there was the suspects were paid to come to Rolesville, pick up tires. It was a total of approximately $15,000 worth of tires that they had attempted to steal here with a fraudulent credit card at the Meineke in Rolesville, 600 South Main Street.
Wow.
They were paid, I think it was from the Facebook Marketplace app. They were paid to come here. Through our investigation, which took several weeks, they were able to identify 2 suspects, a Wagner Rojas and a Marceloni Torres Landeros, that were connected to not only our cases, but cases across Raleigh and Wake County. They were able to obtain charges for property by false pretense, credit card theft, identity theft, and several more charges. And I've recently learned that I believe it was the Wagner Rojas is in custody on our charges. Next was the Rolesville Tavern was broken into, having cash stolen from the premises. This was another multi-jurisdiction campaign from this suspect. There was similar incidents that occurred in Raleigh, Wake Forest, Cary, Clayton, and Rolesville. And through, again, I'm going very fast, but I hope y'all know these investigations don't go this quick. But I'm giving you the highlights. But through some phone records and surveillance and some other investigative tools that we've had, we were able to identify a suspect and tie him to not only our case, but the other cases in the other surrounding jurisdiction. That was a Lamar White out of Zebulon. Being his high profile of the many cases, and he had numerous charges pending, Raleigh's Fugitive Task Force offered assistance, and they were able to apprehend him. He was under a $75,000 secure bond, which was just for our charges, not including the other 5 jurisdictions that he was involved in. So, and then lastly, there were 4 cars broken into in the month of April by 2 suspects. One of the unlocked vehicles had a handgun stolen out of it. Through our investigation, they were able to identify suspects, Devin Caldwell Zebulon and a juvenile. They were apprehended the very next night in Wake Forest Police Department's jurisdiction for committing a similar crime. So once we learned of that, our detectives went out to the scene the next day, and Wake Forest didn't realize it, but the vehicle that they were operating in their jurisdiction and ours was reported stolen. So we were able to identify the stolen vehicle and obviously relate it to the crimes that occurred in our jurisdiction. So we were able to get some charges on Mr. Carwell and juvenile petitions for the other gentleman. Mr. Carwell's in jail under a $50,000 bond for our charges for breaking, entering 4 times, larceny of firearm, and misdemeanor larceny. So I just wanted to highlight them because we don't talk about them a lot, but there's a lot that goes behind the scenes for our detectives when they're working cases. Backing up to some of the ones that they were assigned. We get a lot of frauds here, and there are some that are out of the country that are, unless they're a certain dollar amount, the feds won't prosecute. So they're very hard. They're the telephone stuff where they call. Recently had a conversation with maybe someone y'all know that said that they had an arrest warrant, and they were trying to hurry up and get him to coerce, and we've seen that a lot where they'll try to say you have an arrest warrant, but if you send us, wire us $3,000, whatever it is. So we want to kind of highlight that frauds in our area are very up, and they're targeting our elderly population. So, but that is all I have for my presentation.
Y'all are busy, Chief.
Yes, ma'am.
Certainly. Yeah, I think I got a text message today of someone saying they was from Highway Patrol somewhere and said I had a ticket, and if I didn't pay it within a few hours, I would lose my license automatically or something.
From the DMV, I got one too.
DMV, so you got
Yeah.
text messages?
Sure, I didn't pay it.
I didn't, I paid mine, it wasn't that much, so, you know. Chief, no, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but maybe, you know, at a future meeting or just send out some information. We'd like to know the violations in Prairie Street with the trucks and stuff going through there. So at some point, update us on that, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Do you have any community events that you want to share now that's coming up in the summer beyond Camp Kids and other?
Camp Kids is going to be the primary one that we're working on right now, and then we're also gearing up for the 4th celebration, and then there will be some pop-up events, popsicle with police in the park. So when we have a nice day, we'll try to be out there on the park and in and around our greenways with the kids. So we'll definitely announce it, try to give people enough notice to come meet us out there and enjoy a snack with us.
I'd like to also thank you and Fire as well for the pop-up that we did at Artisan Beer and Cheese. It was a great opportunity for the community to come out and meet you guys. I'd like to target another local business in August or September frame with you guys, and continue that motivation of getting people out to meet you guys and having some conversations.
We enjoyed it as well, and we'd love to keep collaborating on that.
Thank you.
Working with you.
Yes, sir.
Is camp full?
I believe it is full. Yes, ma'am.
Very good.
So last year we were a little light,
Yeah.
so we kind of regrouped and we moved some stuff around. So this year we were full. And,
Very good.
And we have a lot of junior counselors
Awesome.
this time. And I saw several names that are returning, junior counselors that were counselors, which is what we like to see. So the junior counselors who come and help us supervise our campers are have participated in our camp. So that
That's
was good
cool.
to see.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Okay, well, next item is public hearing. Before that, I will mention, as you can see, Commissioner Dan Austin is not here. He's out on vacation or traveling or out of town anyway. I think he's returning June the 7th, I think he told me. So hope he has safe travels and wish him well when he gets back. Public hearing. So we got a public hearing set for a fiscal year 25-26 budget public hearing. We have collected a lot of information the last few weeks, and I think this is part of our workshop a couple weeks ago, and I think it's been out there for the public to review for quite a while now. And this is a time for the public to actually make some comments if you want to. So what I'll do is go ahead and open the public hearing, and I will take an introduction from staff, if Amy, if you want to do that.
Technology will cooperate with me. I will be glad to do that.
The thing's not cooperating at all, is it?
It is not. I'm getting it.
The chief turned it off, didn't he?
This presentation was so good, it broke the machine. Oops, oh, now I just turned it off. That was not very smart. Okay, now, let's start. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Thank you, Mayor, for opening the hearing. We'll start off just with a brief introduction about the budget, both to remind you and inform any of the residents who are here to listen as well. So every year, as always, we start the budget process with a review of your strategic plan for the community. It's important that everything in terms of the resources of the town goes towards making that vision a reality and supporting your 4 strategic goals that you have selected. Now, as far as a budget overview, we'll just say this year was a challenging one. It was a little challenging. We have a lot of economic uncertainty. As you know, if you've watched the news, a lot of economic uncertainty out there. The town itself is about to embark on a very large capital program, building the town campus site, new police station, new fire station, and that has some very long-term implications for debt and debt requirements over the next 20 years. And then finally, we're also getting ready to embark on that fire unification that Commissioner Long mentioned a little earlier, and actually several of you have mentioned a little earlier. And so that's a big addition to the town as well. So with those 3 things in mind, again, it was a bit of a challenging year, but I think managers put together a good budget for you. So this is the proposed budget overall. It shows you each of the 2 main funds that we budget each year, the general fund, which is your operating, and that appropriation expires at the end of the fiscal year, 1 12-month period. Capital projects fund, those are your big projects like we just talked about, town campus. Generally, those appropriations are good for more than 1 year. When you appropriate funds for those projects, they stay in place until the project is complete. We net out inter-fund transfers because sometimes money goes between those and then it double counts things. So there's your grand total. You can see it's a pretty large increase for the general fund from FY25 to FY26, and that reflects the addition of the complete fire department budget. So in the past, all you used to budget was your contribution, and now the entire department is showing in your budget with additional revenues coming in from Wake County. So let's talk about that general fund side, your operating budget. Your general fund revenues here, nothing surprising. This looks very familiar year after year. Your ad valorem property taxes are the largest source of revenue. Your second largest source, makes up most of that taxes and licenses component, is sales tax revenue. And again, what we talked about, economic uncertainty, that revenue is highly dependent upon the current economy. There is one that I do want to point out. If you'll notice up at the top, I don't know, 1 to 2 o'clock on that little pie, it says other revenue, 11%. That's a little high compared to what we've seen in the past. And that also has to do with the unification of the fire department and the receipt of some of the net assets from that entity. So that's a one-time thing you'll just see this year. Okay, on the expenditure side for your general fund or operating, public safety is your largest category, police and fire together. Public works, parks and rec are your other main service delivery areas. I do here want to point out the 3 between 9 and noon, debt service, capital, and reserves. These 3, I think of these together because they're all sort of the same thing. They're all going towards that big capital investment you're going to make, primarily for the town campus and associated buildings. But this is a good demonstration of that commitment that we're about to embark on in the town of Rolesville. On the capital project side, the budget there reflects your capital improvement plan, this 5-year CIP model we've been working on for many years, and we have a funding plan in place to fund these initial projects in the beginning of this plan. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more specifics about revenues. This is the important one everyone likes to see. No changes proposed in the manager's budget for the main revenue sources, property tax, motor vehicle fee, solid waste fee, all remaining at their same level now. There are some proposed amendments to the schedule of fees. These are from the planning department. We talked through these at the budget presentation, so I'm not going to go into a lot of details here, but some minor fee changes to this schedule. Okay, so switching over to the expenditure side for your operating budget, the manager has identified 3 priorities. First priority is investing in current personnel, building organizational capacity. So associated with that is support for the pay study. You all have committed to doing having an outside consultant come in, do a pay study, and then at least every 3 years. That consultant has recommended a minimum pay increase for the staff. In addition to that, staff will be eligible for merit increase. Most of those will receive up to 2%. Some top performers may receive more. And other continued benefits to support current personnel. In terms of who will be on the personnel, I'm actually going to start at the bottom of this list, which is 14 and a half positions will be coming over from the fire department. So that makes up most of the list that you see here. At the top, there's 4 new positions. 2 of those are administrative support to help managers focus on more strategic issues. And then the other 2 are associated with the creation of a new engineering division. The town has gotten to the point where, again, because of this big capital project, town campus, and other projects going on, both private and public, and the stormwater program and the requirements that go along with that, we're ready to begin with the creation of a new division that specializes in engineering work. And so 2 of these positions are associated with that department. All right. Manager's priority number 2 was focusing on essential services and strategic expansion. So with that, one of the initiatives here was internalizing services. So for many years, the town has contracted out some of its work because we didn't have enough demand for those services to justify hiring a person in a full-time position. So it made sense to contract those services out. We have now reached a point for several services where it is more cost-effective to go ahead and bring those positions in-house as full-time positions. So as I mentioned about the engineering, that's a good example of where we're ready to bring some of that in-house, particularly the engineering inspection position. Yard waste is one that you all outsourced last year. There's some additional equipment needs that they have this year to finish that transition. And then finally, plan review is one that we've been outsourcing. Planning department feels that they can reclassify a position and bring that in-house as well. Obviously, we continue the emphasis and investment in public safety. Again, fire unification is a big piece of this, but also continued investment in police, IT enhancements, and some other small equipment needs that they have to continue with that. All right, manager's 3rd priority was creating a foundation for long-term planning. So I mentioned early on that this was a challenging year. We have not seen a lot of revenue growth projected for some of these revenues. But instead of seeing that as a liability, management is looking at this as an opportunity. So this is an opportunity for staff, for our town departments, to have a little introspective and look very deeply at their core services, make sure that we're providing those services in the best way, making sure we're focusing on those services that have the most impact on the community, and to spend some time enhancing our long-term thinking, performance management, data collection, and data analysis. So turning what could be a challenging year into something that's actually more positive, that positions the town staff so that they're ready to go when resources become more available. All right. With that, Mayor, I have finished the presentation.
Okay. Thank you. Before I call on the public, is there anything the manager want to say? Ed? Okay. All right. So, Christine, anybody sign up? And this is the public hearing for the budget. So, if you would, if you got any discussions about the budget, no one signed up. I will just take comments from anybody who want to speak for or against, either one. And I know we had you speak already. If you want to add anything, you can. Good to go? All right, not hearing any, I'm going to close the public hearing and turn it over to the board. Now, on page, I lost my page. I had it up there somewhere. See if I can find it again. There is it's a group of bullets that you have to put into motion if you decide to pass the motion. But where we're at tonight is the board can adopt the balanced budget tonight, or it can continue its discussion and adopt the budget at a sequential meeting no later than July 1. We got one meeting between now and July 1, so if you want to wait, we can wait one meeting. Should the town board wish to adopt the budget tonight, the motion should reflect the desired changes, and as you can see, the motion there. So I will entertain a motion, then we can do a discussion, so.
I personally would like to hold off until next week because I still do have a couple of more questions and things I feel like in my mind are loose ends that I don't have resolution to. So I personally would like to wait until the next meeting.
Okay, any other comments? All right. Dan will be back next meeting. Any other comments? Yes.
So one thing we did want to mention, so the manager has a few additional proposals since the proposed budget. Wanted to make sure that we have a chance to cover those. So you have time to know about them now and then can ask some additional questions later.
Okay.
They're all there's three items. They're all related to the capital program. One of those is Granite Falls Boulevard resurfacing. Staff had hoped to bring a budget amendment this month in the current fiscal year, but the bidding process is a little more involved than expected. And so the manager's asking that we have a budget amendment. We rather than doing a budget amendment July 1, we'll just roll that into the adopted budget for your consideration at the next meeting. So that's one of them, going and putting funds in for the Granite Falls Boulevard resurfacing. Second one is Sanford Creek Playground surface. There was an inspection of that playground and recommended replacing that surface. It was $52,000. We just are recommending rolling that right into the budget adoption.
Is that the one you had?
That is a question. So
Yes.
why is that let me rephrase that. Why is the school system not paying for that and the town of Rolesville is?
So we have a memorandum of understanding or interlocal agreement to where we own those fields. And so we do not pay them to rent any of the sports fields for soccer, baseball, t-ball. As a result, we're responsible for the upkeep of those playgrounds and surfaces. And that's one of those playgrounds that fall into that. That particular program has some trip hazards on it, so we'll be upgrading it to a more soft, accessible surface. And so that's just something that comes along with it. But in general, that's the trade-off. If we weren't upkeeping that, there was outdoor asphalt basketball court that we had to do some crack sealing and paving on last year, the year before last. If we weren't upkeeping that, then we will be paying for rental fees for those different fields. So it's just a trade-off for us to be able to support our parks and recreation services and sports and such.
Okay, thank you.
And the third one?
Third item, if you remember, when the manager presented his budget, the mayor asked a question about town campus. And I answered saying, no, we're going to wait and budget all that money when we get the real costs. Left that meeting, spent a little time talking to the architect and our capital project manager. And in fact, we do want to go ahead and budget a little bit of pre-construction funding for those projects. We're going to need some money before we get ready to go to the construction phase. So I stand corrected. And that also is recommended now to go into the adopted budget. It's not the full cost for those projects. It's just some of that pre-construction work to finish out the architectural design. It shouldn't be a general fund contribution since we are anticipating to issue the debt in this upcoming fiscal year. We're offsetting the cost of that with the debt. But just a caveat, in case we get to the end of the fiscal year and we have not issued that debt, we will have to come back and do some sort of fund balance appropriation. But I fully expect us to be well on our way with the debt issuance by then.
Yep.
Let's go ahead if you got some other questions.
Two other things to add. They're not reflected as budget amendments since they didn't change the amount of money. So what we did leading up to it is we put a certain amount of money in our economic development budget to ensure there was enough funds in there to be able to partner in full with both the chamber and the Downtown Development Association. And so between the presentation and the end of last week, we were able to settle, meet with both and determine the amount that will be contributed, that will be captured inside of the memorandums of understanding. And both of the partners, community partners, were happy with it. And so they'll both be set up for success when it comes to partnering with them. We will be working to partner directly with another nonprofit in the community. And so I'll bring that back to you once we determine what that is, Leadership Rolesville. And so we'll be partnering with them directly to keep standing up that program over this next year, but that'll come back to you as kind of like a proposal to kind of clarify how we do that. So
Okay.
I want to just add that it didn't change the amount of the budget, but it just changed, if you look in the kind of the notes, you see how it kind of moves around and how it's delineated in there. So those things are taken care of.
So
What
it's
were
just
the
the
amounts to
allocation.
the two organizations?
The chamber is hard to explain because there's an in lieu for rent that's given us a contribution of just north of like $30,000, but then there's a direct contribution to their economic development programs and their Launch Rolesville programs and through various partnerships through economic development and the Parks and Recreation. So the total amount that we'll end up partnering with them, it will be, as far as like net, will be like $27,000. I don't have it directly in front of me, but yes. And so I think it's $27,500 for the chamber, and then it's $6,700 for the Downtown Development Association. But they're both encouraged to come back if they need additional support for a budget amendment. We can cross that bridge when we get to it next year. And so.
The 27,000 factors in the rent, or is that over and above?
No, that's over and above that rent, yeah. So they won't be paying rent, and they'll retain their occupancy at the current place they are, which the current chamber. So they won't be transitioning out, and they'll be set up for success on that.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting us know that, because that was one of the questions on my list.
Yes.
Any other questions? Get all the questions out. So how do you feel now about moving?
I still need to wait.
Still need to wait?
Yep.
Anybody got any objections to that?
None.
None.
Okay, so place it back on the agenda for next meeting. And I would suggest, if you didn't get all your answers
Yeah,
tonight.
please do reach out. Let us know.
Yeah,
I will.
because we'll have to make a decision somehow, even if it's long late, because we won't have another meeting between next meeting and July 1, so
All my questions will be answered, and I just want to take another look at the CIP too.
sounds good. Any other things? All right. There is no new business, so I would say.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, yeah, thank you, Amy, appreciate that. I would say, Town Attorney, anything from you? I know you requested a closed session.
No, sir.
Nothing else? How about Town Manager?
No, sir. Just quick update. We have Juneteenth coming up, so please be on the lookout for that. Also for updates on different shifts around the Main Street project, please everyone look at the news blast. They're continuing their work up on William Street and also continuing to work over at the Signal in front of the Publix. And over the next week or so, will be narrowing down that 2-lane road to a 1-way there to start plowing ahead with the earthwork that is connected to getting the intersection back open. So those are the major kind of shifts with that. We'll continue working with the Perry Street community to monitor traffic there. PD continues to run patrols during peak hours to keep enforcing those ordinances. And so we put out additional signage and detour clarification so people can navigate. One particular thing is there will be more flaggers in place in certain places near the intersection. And so as you kind of approach and you want to get to Cobblestone, please just let them know that you're going to Cobblestone. Either you're a resident, you're going to the patron of business. Only thing they're doing is just stopping and saying, hey, where are you headed? It's not there to be a deterrent for people to go. Just say, hey, I'm headed right here to Cobblestone to shop, or I'm headed here, and they'll let you go. That's just an extra kind of human touch to kind of help monitor traffic and then avoid vehicles from having to turn around in random places and such. And so just encourage everyone to just be patient and be communicative and just say, hey, I'm headed here, and then they'll let you go on right through.
Any status update? It seems like they've been out there maybe 5 days in a row, which is good to see. Do we have an update on the schedule? Has it changed any for better or for worse?
It's still early September. The approval of the traffic management plan went through with DOT. And so they're simply just working to get, last week during that 3-day closure, it actually took about 2.5 days. They did the necessary sewer locations on that stretch between the parking lot and William Street.
Right.
And so they're working on that stormwater. And so once they do that, it should be a really, really good situation. But once they transition down to that single lane with the mechanical arms, kind of managing traffic flow through there, we'll likely see more activity. But they'll be mobilizing 2 crews during that time. They had 3 last week between that section across from here in Town Hall, and then 2 up there in the intersection, gas crew, and then also utility crew as well. So they'll keep working on that.
Thank you.
So the 1-lane thing, is that just during times they're working, or is
It'll be
that
24 hours a day.
24 hours a day?
Yes. Yep. And so they'll be mindful. It'll be a kind of like a stoplight with an arm that you would see at like a railroad crossing, and then it'd be monitoring, managing traffic flow 24 hours a day.
Okay. Any other comments? About town clerk, anything to add?
Yes, I just wanted to add that the town of Rolesville is pleased to announce that the 2025 community group funding program is now open for applications to all nonprofit organizations. The community organizations are encouraged to apply for funding to support projects, programs, and services that benefit the Rolesville community. It's open from June 1st until June 30th, so please go on the website. Feel free to call the town hall. We'll be glad to answer any questions they have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? I will entertain a motion. Anybody have the motion he needs?
Yeah, I have it.
Okay.
I move that the board go into closed session to discuss a confidential personnel matter and to consult with the town attorney to preserve attorney-client privilege pursuant to Chapter 143, Sections 318.11A3 and 6 of the North Carolina General Statutes.
Okay, we have a motion. Is a second?
Second.
Got a motion, second. Any other discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Sounds like the ayes have it. The ayes do have it. So we will adjourn into closed session, and we will be back to close out after we take a recess into closed session.